Right, here we are. So, I'm aiming to put together. Let me come in closest. An hour's video, because you're all aware, or you will be aware by now, that I've taken down my YouTube videos, and there was reasons behind that. And I want to explain that to you, but I have set up additional support because I don't want to just cut everybody off. So I'll start from the beginning. So a lot of my videos were causing people distress. My family were watching them, they were hearing things that really they shouldn't have had to hear. Obviously, they had the option to click on it. I didn't force that, but through curiosity, they are gonna. And also, I think it was distressing for people that didn't know me, that were watching it. It could have brought up memories. It could have triggered things in their illness, and I've got to be true to myself. I can't sit on camera and tell you half truths. It's an all or nothing job. You know what I mean? So I've got to be true to myself. There's a few other reasons why I've come off YouTube permanently as well, and I had to go through all 100 videos. It was painstaking. It was actually quite soul destroying because I put hundreds upon hundreds of hours into it of work, not just shooting it, but thinking, structuring it, planning, all that sort of stuff. But the part of the terms and the conditions that I kind of had with the unit that I'm at is that no patients will be exposed, no names, blah blah blah. Now it came to my attention that that in one of my videos I had done, I thought I'd been extra careful, so I kind of breached one of the rules, and sort of the person who was in charge here was on about doing videos, but I've been doing it a bit more structured and stuff like that. But to be honest with you, that isn't me. It has to be on my terms. I'm genuinely sorry for the people I've distressed with my, how graphic I've talked. But again, that's me, and that was basically what I almost, what's the word I'm looking for, modelled myself on, brutal honesty. I wanted to show you the ups of the crisis and the downs of the crisis, and the downs of the crisis I'm going to get into in a minute. I couldn't just be selective about what I was saying because that wouldn't have been true to me. But I want to tell you that I have set up an email account, and I've also set up an online forum. And what I've done is, a lot of you will be aware that I've created my own website. But what happens is, you pay for a domain name. Now I was paying £12-13 for a monthly domain name, that I basically I'll message that person back in a minute. A domain name that, and I've put everything up on the website that I needed to put up. So what I've done is, all the information I have taken from the website, and I've put it onto this online forum. So when I put this video up, there'll be links shown directly to the forum, and to like an anonymous email account. You don't have to reveal your identity. You don't even have to stay in contact with me. I'm providing that option because there was one comment by one of my last video when I said I was having to leave YouTube, and there was one comment that I got by one person, and I won't mention them, and they thanked me so much, and they said I was the reason that they had actually gone to go and get help for their problems. and that they're getting help for the problems. And when I started this, you're all aware what my sort of, I always said if I could change that one life, to me that's happy, and anything else on top of that is kind of like a bonus, if you know what I mean. So there was no way I was just going to go quiet, because I want to give you that support, because it helps me when I'm through crisis as well. Now, I did this video a while ago, but since then a lot of things have happened. Now, for reasons I explained earlier about distressing people, I'm going to go into zero details of what I was in hospital for. But for self-harm reasons, I spent 5 days in hospital, which was an absolute low for me. If I hadn't have got there when I did, things could have got a lot worse. I didn't quite realise, when people say that, that limbs can be lost by stuff, infections and that, they're not lying. And luckily, where I was, again, I can't reveal the location where I was, they were brilliant, they treated me, antibiotic drip, so I've been very ill physically. Very, very close to surgery, but they decided to treat it with antibiotics, which it's responded quite well to. And I may need future surgery. So now it just feels like the perfect time to shoot this video, because I wanted to get it across to you all why those videos just had disappeared from YouTube. And it was hard to do because, I have to follow rules and regulations, and if it's one that I've breached, that's fair. And also, the last thing I want to be doing is causing people distress. So I suppose, in a way, by creating the online forum and the email address, it can get people contacting me, and you'd have to reveal who you are, and we can maybe communicate, and I could help you in a way that doesn't distress you, and vice versa. Because in crisis, trust me, you might not believe this, but it does help, to be speaking to similar people. I want to say a little bit of good news, actually, to be honest with you. Since I've come back to the unit that I'm in, a lot of measures have been put in place to stop me self-harming, which I'm really relieved about, because there was that constant anxiety of do I, shouldn't I, and it was just going to get worse. And now there's measures in place where it is nigh impossible to do that, pretty much 0%. Like, it is literally impossible. So a lot of you will be happy to hear that. It's a shame that I had to get as poorly as I did physically, and the degree of self-harm to get to that point. But we're at that point now, which is the main thing. I was oblivious to it all, if I'm completely honest with you. I was laid in that hospital bed, and it didn't really register with me what was going on. It was only after when I came out and it all hit me, and I just thought to myself, John, if something needs to change, or else you're going to end up killing yourself. And as blunt as that sounds, that's why these measures have been put in place. I just want everybody to know that I'm not turning my back on you. That was the focal point of one of the focal points of the video, which is why I've set up the support that I have. And the beauty of it is, if say Let me just give you a hindsight example. Say the email that I provide, somebody is suffering with a certain element they know I've suffered with, and they might want some help. They could have this written or video link. Whatever is sent through that email, you literally have my word. It will go no further. And then you can specifically ask for whatever advice it is that you're looking for. And I suppose in a way that's the beauty of having these kind of new measures, that it's not all out there for the world. It's kind of out there for the people who need it, which is really the most important point, isn't it? And I don't mean just, sufferers of mental health problems and addiction. I mean people who care for them as well. Family, friends, carers, because it takes a toll on them. My family were by my bedside every single day when I was in hospital. I couldn't have asked for a better family. I'm lucky. Some people aren't as lucky. I've got a few plans in place in terms of like health and stuff. Luckily, my leg wounds will be the ones that will heal first. So I'll be getting back in the gym and I'll be doing my cardio. I'm going back onto a 4-3 diet, which means 4 days eating clean, 3 days eating what I want, as opposed to 7-0, 7 eating what I want. Because I need to shift a few pounds. As you can tell, I've got about 7 chins there, and I'm up to 17 yards or whatever it is, which people keep telling me I don't look. I don't know if they're saying that to make me feel better, but I'll take it. But yeah, so that's important as well. And it's just about getting myself right mentally, because I've hit an all-time low with this bout of self-harm. And it's still, how can I put it? It has registered, but it is still registering, and the trauma of it is kind of coming back to me, which I suppose is a good thing. When you look at it, there's. I think it's important that people talk. That's the main thing, and I think when I first put on Facebook the links to my YouTube and website, people who did not know me were quite surprised that I was going through that. And I think it probably helped a lot of people. It promoted things in a good way. And I got a lot of very, very good comments and very, very nice comments from people. So, by putting myself out there, it did take a lot of balls. I'm not going to lie. I was both excited, scared, anxious, whatever. But then as soon as the flood of support came in, that's when I realised that this was the right thing to do. But because of the reasons I mentioned, I can't continue with my YouTube videos, because I want to be honest with you all, and I'm distressing people by doing that, and I can't do that. I'm not the sort of person that puts getting my needs out there before. But I also acknowledge there'll be many people that have subscribed to my YouTube channel that won't be distressed, because you're probably going through the same thing. So you people are... Right, I'm back now, and there was a bit of a quick stop and start there. The reason for that is because I'm on a 1-to-1 now. There was a changeover, and I couldn't let the video roll while there was voices in the background, because again, these breaches earlier that I didn't mean to do, that I did accidentally. I couldn't allow to happen again. So it was a quick pause, and we're back again. And I remember where I was going. I was talking about why I took the YouTube videos down for reasons, legal reasons obviously, and for people I was distressing. But I also wanted you guys, because there's 31 subscribers there, and like one of you's already told me that I'm the reason you've sought help. In those 31 subscribers, I know there will be people who don't mind the brutal honesty of it, and probably feel relieved by it because you're going through similar stuff. So I don't want to just assume that everyone's distressed by it, and I don't want to make that balance. And this is why I've created the forum, and all the website information is on there for you to see. Obviously read that at your own risk, because obviously if you read my timeline and stuff like that, there's a lot of distressing stuff in that. So, you know, I do need to point that out. But in terms of you guys that are devastated that you feel like you're losing me as YouTube, you're not. Because like I said, I'm going to keep repeating it. I'm going to have an online, like I said, I'm going to have the link to the forum and the email set up. And anyone, all my mates and that, I'm going to put up my personal email as well, purely because I've got a new phone and my numbers haven't transferred yet, so I can't get in contact with anyone, do you know what I mean? So there'll be them links whilst I'm yapping away in your ear. I've set an hour for this video, and I'm up to 17 minutes now. But I'll keep talking until the hour, even if I have to just rabble. So we've been through why I've taken the YouTube down. I've told you the extra support that I'm putting up. Don't ever think for 1 minute that if you send me an email or you comment on something on the forum that you are distressing me because I'm in crisis. Don't ever think like that. I am in crisis, but crisis doesn't mean that I have to completely, cut myself off from the real world. If anything, that's going to make crisis worse. And you, like I said, I would never reveal anyone's identity. So I'm hoping this new regime I've come up with was worked. Like I said, I was going to do this video sooner, but then I ended up, and obviously I couldn't go into details of why I spent 5 days in hospital, but I was very poorly. So now coming out, it's kind of given me a bit more of a stepping stone to work with, really. That, anyone who's going through something, the only advice I would give is to talk to someone. And sometimes I'm really good at doing that, but I can understand from a crisis point of view. If you are in crisis, it is literally one of the hardest things to do is to reach out. Maybe if I'd have done that, it wouldn't have got to this stage. But I do kind of believe everything happens for a reason, and the fact that things have got so serious, now my safety, like I say, it is nigh on impossible to harm myself because of the measures that have been put in place, which, like I say, has decreased my anxiety because I don't have to worry about thinking, do I, I'm probably repeating myself a lot as well. I want to make a formal apology to anyone who I have distressed, because that was not my intention whatsoever. And to me, it's not traumatic, and I can kind of give you an example of this. When I was in the hospital, I was talking to my sister, and she said, John, the position you're in now, to somebody without your problems, they would see it as horrific trauma, but because of your underlying issues, you don't recognise it as trauma. And she was kind of right there. And I suppose in a lot of my videos, I didn't take that into account really, and I should have done. But like I said before, I can't. I was always going to be true to myself. Do you know what I mean? So I couldn't sit here and talk about 50% of what was going on, and then another 50% left to one side, because that wasn't me, and that's something in life you've always got to do, is be true to yourself. It's one of the most important things. Whoever you are, whoever you are watching this, whatever mental health condition you might have, whatever struggles you might be going through, whatever issues you might be having in life, there is always that light at the end of the tunnel. I'm not going to make this video morbid and go into my past history, because everybody knows it, and I'm not going to go down that line, because I don't think it's healthy. This is the last video that I'm posting, so I want it to be as relatively positive, upbeat, and factual as I can possibly make it, really. But I couldn't just let go of everyone, and I couldn't let go of the people that I knew I was helping, and that's why these things have been created. And again, I'll repeat myself. They're gonna be somewhere there above my head. I don't know. I'm not really good with all this technology stuff. I sound like an old man now. I'm only 29, but yeah. So yeah, my aim is to get back on my 4-3 diet. Get these wounds healed, get back in the gym, get fit again, because obviously you'll see in my face I put a lot of weight on. Get myself back to that machine I was, that was fit as a fiddle, and get on with my life, and get on with my recovery first and foremost. I'm not going to lie and say everything's hunky-dory, because I am not it's pretty obvious I'm not going to be in a good place by the circumstances. Do you know what I mean? So for me to sit here and say, yeah, things are fantastic, I'm not gonna give any BS. The better in the respect that I'm safer and that I feel safer. My anxieties have decreased because of that. But all the kind of other stuff that I'm battling is still there. So don't think for 1 minute that things can go overnight, because they don't. That's where I went wrong. I think I wanted my problems to disappear overnight, and the problem was they were going absolutely nowhere. So instead of tackling the problem, I used to drink, and I want to touch upon mind altering substances, and you might be thinking to yourself, I don't have a leg to stand on, and I probably don't, to be honest with you, because I did used to abuse alcohol. So you're probably thinking, who is he to tell me not to do it when he did it? So if you think this coming across a bit hypocritical, you're very right to do so. But all I'll say is, mind altering drugs, it's a short term fix, but it makes everything worse in the long term. So you're your own person, you can make your own decisions, but during a crisis situation, I would really advise you to just, even if if your best mate, that family member, it doesn't have to be a professional. If it gets to the stage where you need really intense support, then obviously I would encourage you to get that. But I don't know anyone's circumstances individually, so all I can really do is talk in a general point of view. But in terms of my journey and my self-harm, I've hit a rock bottom. Obviously, I've told you I'm not going to bring up the past, which I'm not. But it's well documented that I have been a chronic self-harmer over the years, and this has been tenfold, 20-fold, 30, like it has been the worst by a country mile. And it kind of not really hit me yet. It has hit me, but it hasn't, you know what I mean? I am coming to terms with it, and I'm not, I don't know, I just feel like sometimes you need to hit that. Right, so you're probably a bit baffled by why my words haven't flowed this last 10 seconds. The reason being was because there was a changeover with staff, so I had to quickly pause the video. Now the changeover's happened, I can start again. What I was basically on about was sometimes in life you need to hit an absolute low to be able to pick yourself back up. And I did make it so clear that I'm not going to go, I refuse to go back in time to all my, well, I'll just say it, attempts on my life in detail. I'm not going to go back there because it's not healthy, because that's in the past, that's happened, I'm still here, and they were my lows. But to me, this feels like a different kind of low, because hospitalisation for extreme self-harm, it's not great, and it wasn't nice for my family either. I've got to think of it from their point of view. Life is tough for myself. Living with the debilitating problems. Excuse me, it's got a bit of wind that I do live with, but your friends and family, they go through it too, and it's so important they get that support. And on the online forum, where the link will be on here, there is actually a section for family and friends to read to get some advice. And I keep saying this, and I've said it so many times. I'm going to reiterate it all the way through. Just because I'm in a crisis and I'm in a down point, don't feel you can't reach out to me by the means I've given you with the forum and the email. You can. If I didn't think you could, then I wouldn't have put them up there. But I'm obviously now in a better position to be able to reply, because things are more secure for me now. I'm not gonna lie, the pain, I'm in pain. It's just gonna increase the scars I've got on my body, but the battle wounds, aren't they? That's how I'm gonna try to look at them anyway. It's not always that easy to look at them as battle wounds when you're in that moment, because you can't see that light at the end of the tunnel. I'm well aware of that. One thing I do need to say is and I need to say this purely because ethically I think it's right. My knowledge, what my illnesses are. It's borderline personality disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder, anxiety, and obviously past alcohol abuse and gambling addicts. Now, what I want to say to you is that, touch wood, I've never suffered psychosis, and I don't have the relevant knowledge on psychosis to be able to help people with psychosis. So I'll say that straight out. Emotionally, I'll be able to support you, that person to talk to. But medically, in terms of it, I'll be honest, I don't know nowhere near enough about it to be able to advise you. That has to come straight from your doctor. But that doesn't mean I'm not there for support, if that makes sense. Obviously, my knowledge on suicide, self-harm, personality disorders, anxiety, depression, addictions, I'm one of your go-to men. Obviously, you don't have, you don't have to use, you don't. I'm not putting this video up saying that people have to stay in contact with me. I'm just giving that option because whilst I was doing those YouTube videos, I was putting things up and the distressing parts weren't helping people. And now I get that, but I think the beauty of the new sort of system I've come up with is that somebody can email and I can do a private video for them and send it on an extremely distressing topic that someone else on the YouTube channel found too distressing and disturbed them. So I don't want to deprive you of that knowledge and that support through your crisis either. So that's what I want to say. Get out your head that you can contact me because I'm in a crisis. I've got a lot of spare time on my hands. I'm doing the right things. Like I said, things aren't good. They're not great, but they're safer, and that is the main thing. And in the short term, that's good enough for me. I'm kind of glad I didn't put the initial video up that I started because I think this one's been a lot more informative and more flowing, and also I had that hospital stay, so I haven't hit my all-time low. Do you know what I mean? So I think now this is perfect. It's a perfect time to do it. And I've been talking for 31 minutes now, and I know I probably will be repeating myself quite a lot, but I don't mind that because if anything, it'll just reiterate what I'm saying. Do you know what I mean? And it will. I just as well. I'm going to ask certain people to share on their social media, so sort of family, close friends, this video, because obviously it'll be my last YouTube video. After this, there won't be anything else. I'll obviously leave the YouTube account there with this video on, but I won't be posting. So what I will be doing is for family and friends, because they'll have people on their friends list and newsfeed that might need the support. So I will be asking people to share this because the tone hasn't been morbid. That I haven't gone into any graphic detail, and if I had, then they wouldn't obviously share it. Anybody who is subscribed to me on YouTube, feel free to copy and paste this and share it, because like I said, those links I'm going to be putting up, it's there to anyone, and like I say, the only area I can't jeopardize your safety with and also put myself in a bad position is psychosis. I know bits about it. I know what it is. I know kind of that bit how it works, but I've never experienced it. And the reason why I thought the videos were so good was because I had experienced it. Because I'm not one of them. It's okay going to university and becoming a professor of psychiatry, and these guys, their knowledge is, well, it's ridiculous. Like, they're extremely intelligent men, and it'd be ignorant of me to say they don't understand because they haven't been through it. How do I know they haven't been through it? They might have mental health problems themselves, but there will obviously be doctors out there that haven't gone through it, but will have the expertise and will be professors of psychiatry, and will know a hell of a lot on it. But it's that experience that they won't have had, that hands-on experience and actually knowing how it feels to go through it. And that's the angle that I genuinely feel like I can promote. Do you know what I mean? it was also brought to my attention, and I'm sorry to the person who it did distress, that it kind of got back to somebody where at the unit I'm in now, that they were extremely worried for my safety because of the videos I've put up. I want to say, well, thank you first of all for doing that. It showed bottle and caringness, and I suppose apologise for putting people in those positions. I apologise to family for speaking about personal matters, family matters on YouTube. That's all flattened out, so I don't need to go into that. But I apologise to them. And like I say, anything you want me to talk to you about, you don't I don't want people to overthink what I'm saying. So, like, I'm providing links and stuff like that, and email accounts, but I don't want you to overthink things. If you wanted to email with me saying, "Hi John, my name's so and so, I'm having a really shitty day, I suffer from anxiety on and off, quite mild, but it's quite high at the moment," you don't have to suffer with the problems to the extreme and intensity of mine to communicate with me, because that's irrelevant. Do you know what I mean? And that's, to me, that's making us all equal, and it's good for humans to feel like, just because his problems are worse, don't never think to yourself or minimize what you're going through, because comparing is one of the worst things you can do. I'll just always say speak out. And there's on the online forum, I'll kind of go through it. There's basically so I'm kind of telling you this, so it can be a bit of a trigger warning on things that might bother you. So there's my journey, so going back from when I was a kid to now and what I've been through. It's quite extreme, so if that section could distress you, don't click on it. I've put up videos on anxiety, borderline personality disorder, the treatment I've received for it with the DBT. There's a crisis management section. I've spoke about the different emotions that humans feel. People, we all feel anger, envy, joy, happy. Every single human being experiences them emotions. Unfortunately, I've got an emotionally unstable personality disorder, which means that sort of and again, I'm using the word normal because it's the only word in a sort of the normal will be there, but my extreme emotions will be there, and sort of like that. So that's why it becomes impossible to kind of manage. But obviously, we're in a position now where we can manage. I want you all to keep in touch with me, but I'm leaving that choice completely up to you. And it's just, I'm going to spend a lot of time in the next 5-10 minutes talking about the power of talking. For many years, I bottled my problems up, literally and metaphorically. I was trying to find them in the bottom of an empty bottle of alcohol, and I never found the solution. It made everything worse. It caused friction between me and a family member, which I'm not going to mention which one, because that's not fair. But I used to bottle everything, and maybe if I'd have not bottled things from such an early age, maybe it wouldn't have got to this point. But I find myself in a long-term rehab placement, and that's because I have had so many acute admissions, which was in and out of hospital. So it wasn't working basically. I needed something more secure, that could get to the root of the problems. So I finished my round of DBT. I've now started seeing the psychologist. Um, Fantastic. Like I've not got a bad word to say. Very easy to talk to. The psychology I'll be doing will be very difficult. It'll bring up a lot of emotions from my childhood and stuff like that, and through my teenage years, and I suppose even my 20s, and even the last month, but I'm getting that help, and fingers crossed it can get to the root, because there's a root there with me, there is that self-hate, and again, I'm not turning, I will not let this video turn morbid or talk about self-harm and all that suicide in detail. I might mention it briefly because it's relevant, but I won't go down that line. But I just want kind of everyone to realise it, you might feel alone, but you're genuinely not. And sometimes, and I don't want, how can I put it? When I first started realising that people were going through things that I was going through to the same intensity, it gave me comfort. It's not that I liked the fact someone else was suffering, it was just the fact I knew I wasn't the only one made me feel better. Because with a life of mental illness, you do feel, well, you feel isolated. You're basically in prison in your head, are you? Whatever your diagnosis is, we're all going to have different diagnoses. You know, I'm not going to go into the past about, relationships, but you're all aware, that I did lose the love of my life, and a lot of it was my fault. And there regrets that what if is always going to be there, but sometimes you've got to let people free, which is what I've done. And I can only hope that she's happy. And someone's giving her what I genuinely tried to give her, but failed. So I genuinely do wish her the best. And so I'm not going to go into too much detail on that, because I don't want to bring up unhealthy emotions to myself and that. This video was just basically, and I knew I wouldn't have needed an hour to basically tell you why I was coming off YouTube and provide you with links. I think it was kind of my way of explaining why I'm coming off YouTube. But on the forum as well, I'm not quite sure how these forums even work, to be honest with you. I'm just as new to it as you. I think you can comment, you can comment as a guest. I think you can set up an account and that, so your identity won't be revealed. It is anonymous, which is the beauty of it. But then obviously, I think the further point of access, the email address, people might not want to be as anonymous, and they might want to reveal a bit more about themselves, and that's fine as well. So I kind of feel like I'm balancing things in a way where I'm helping everyone, and it will help me as well. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot on the forum that you'll be able. There's a lot of detail. Like I say, it is literally my website, but on a forum, because it's kind of, I don't have much cash to play with, and £12-13 a month is too much for me to just have a site that's sat there that I'm not adding to. Whilst I was adding to it and developing it, it was different. But now I feel like I've got to the point where there's not really much more I can do in terms of advice, wisdom, and help really. But like I say, this is transferred to the forum, so all that knowledge is going to be there. But just be very mindful when you're reading it. For example, if you're a self-harmer, if you're worried that reading about self-harm will trigger stuff in yourself, I would strongly advise not to watch it. But it's obviously it's your decision. But I've got to say these things because I've got to make sure everybody doesn't kind of walk into things they don't want to see. But you, like I say, you might get some joy, not joy, that's the wrong word, comfort out of it by thinking, wow, he's gone through that. And since what is on the forum, I've been through that times 10, which is why I was in hospital. But again, details of that I can't go into, and I won't go into because it's not really fair on my family, and anyone who might be watching this, because then it'll add the distress element. So I'm coming up to like 46 minutes now. So I think in this point I'm just going to try and do a bit of a recap and a bit of a summary, and kind of speak about each little individual point, and almost kind of do a bit of housekeeping, put finishing touches in. So why did